on, everybody? It's Stop Bets. Checking back in. We got our Week 7 first look video coming at you. Our Week 6 DFS lineups didn't quite get there. We ended up losing a little bit over $150 of the $205 that we put in. As you guys can always track my status and my recaps live on Twitch right before we get on here to do the recording of the first look video. Unfortunately, the running back position treated us fairly well without Hunt, without the exception of Hunt. However, my stacks with the Ravens, Chargers, Mahomes, and Heineke did not go very well. Ended up sinking most of our lineups and did not get up on the leaderboard. However, it is a new week, so we are going to dive right into Week 7. Before we get going, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know that you guys do enjoy these videos still and want me to keep throwing them at you. As always, join our free Discord below. The link is below. And check out our guys at Occupy Fantasy as they give out the top DFS information in the entire industry. Their lineup optimizer is built for high-risk contests. I use it myself. Absolutely love it. Easy to navigate through. Highly recommend Occupy Fantasy. Hit the link below and get you guys set up with them. And without further ado, let's go. All right, so let's dive into our first look at each position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. As we dive into Week 7, we got a couple more teams on buys. I think there's a total of 6. Bills, Cowboys, Jaguars, Vikings, Steelers, Chargers. So a lot of firepower on bye weeks, a lot of good players that we normally play. So we'll have to find some new areas to attack each and every slate. So let's dive into the quarterback position. And from first glance, looks like the Kansas City Tennessee game is going to be the DFS landscape's highest projected ownership for both of them. Then you got Houston at Arizona. Kyler Murray went absolutely off last week. 25 points, 4 touchdown passes. Didn't run the ball as much. I think with that ailing shoulder, he's not going to run as much, but should still be able to be fantasy viable. Mahomes going up against this Tennessee Titans defense that gave up almost 400 yards passing to Josh Allen last week. So we'll see how much he airs it out this week. Brady, Rodgers, Jackson round out, and then Stafford round out the 7,000s range. Little homecoming game for Jared Goff against the LA Rams in LA. So that's pretty fitting there. Probably won't have much exposure to Jared Goff at all. Heineke was our boy last week. Not going to go back to him this week. He's been horrific. Justin Fields is intriguing at 5,300 going up against this Tampa Bay defense. Intriguing, just maybe they open up the playbook finally. We'll see. It's going to be hard for me to go to Justin Fields, but they do have a plus matchup against that Tampa Bay secondary. A couple other ones that stuck out to me. Obviously, Tannehill. You can go that game's going to be the highest owned game stack of the week. Go back to Hurts here against the Raiders. He's been very, very viable, very, very well done for him this year for the quarterback position. 28, 21, 25, 31, 23, and 26. He has not scored below 21 points in fantasy. Definitely worth starting at 6,900 against this Raiders defense. That'd be probably another game that I might have some exposure to right off the bat. I'm trying to see if there's any other value plays down here. Where's Tua at? Tua at home against the Falcons could particularly be a matchup here. He did fairly well in his first game back in London. 33 for 47, 329, a couple touchdown passes. But he did run for 22 yards, so he looked healthy. He could be a potential candidate for me this week. But mainly, you're probably going to see me stick with Mahomes and Tannehill, and then probably the Stafford Hurts area maybe flirt with some Jackson. Running back positions, we got a lot of good, juicy matchups this week from. If you watched Monday Night Football last night, you saw Sir King Henry absolutely go off again. That is his, I think it's his third game of the year with 3 touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. That's insane. It's only week 6. That's so half of the games he's scoring 3+ touchdowns. That's insane. So yeah, he's definitely in play. 9,200, very, very expensive. But if he's got another great matchup here. He didn't even have a great matchup last night. It was against the Buffalo Bills defense. It was the number one defense in the league. And absolutely torched him. So he's kind of like the McCaffrey status of a couple years ago, where you just try to find ways to put him in your lineup. And I think that's the way to go with Sir Derrick Henry for sure. McCaffrey on the IR. Aaron Jones has been serviceable. Still think he's a little bit too high for my liking. Darrell Henderson, cover boy, going to be the guy that I have a lot of exposure to. Anybody who plays against the Detroit Lions as a running back, I'm going to play in a majority of my lineups. Did it last week with Mixon, even though he was on a snap count, maybe whatnot. He rushed the ball for almost 20 attempts. And Darrell Henderson has a firm grip on this elite offense's backfield. I will keep going back to Darrell every single week. Saquon has a tough matchup against the Panthers defense. Mixon is another viable option here, but I think that's going to be such a hard-fought game defensive-wise between those two. It always is. So I don't know how much offense we'll see there. Could potentially be a shootout. I'll have to do a lot more research into that. See how much Mixon, see how much Burrow, see how much Jackson and Brown and Jamar Chase that I want to do. I'll get back to you guys on Friday with that. Cordell Patterson, somebody I don't know what it is. I'm just not going to roster him. I don't know if it's just envy that I have not absolutely thought that he was going to be worth a damn this year. Plus matchup here against Miami's defense that is just not good anymore. I don't know what happened. So I might have some exposure to Cordell for sure. Hubbard and Jacobs definitely in play. I would lean Hubbard. I'd probably go Henderson then Hubbard, in my opinion, with the matchups that they got. Giants, you just got shredded by Darrell Henderson and the Rams defense or offense. And this guy's got full control of the backfield in Carolina. I think he splits it with one other guy, but nothing too crazy. Trailing game script, you can keep going back to DeAndre Swift. Excuse me. Yeah, you can keep going back to him. He gets 6 to 7 targets a week, safe as can be. His salary does not move. $6,000. Plug him in your lineups. Any value plays? So let's see where Herbert ended up. So Herbert moved up to 5,200. So at 4,600, now he's at 52. So a $600 jump. Still think it's viable. He got three targets out of the backfield. He's going to have to catch it a lot more against this Tampa Bay defense. So not a very good matchup whatsoever. However, if he can get in the passing game, like Myles Gaskin did a couple weeks ago against that team, definitely viable. Gaskin probably not going to go too much towards. How did Booker do last week? He had 10 points last week, 12 attempts, and a blowout. Maybe a little bit more competitive game here. Could go back to Devontae Booker. Kenyon Drake had a very good game, 21 points. Just an efficient game, really. I wouldn't say. 21 points is really, really good, but he had 4 attempts and he got a touchdown. 2 receptions, got a touchdown. So, it was just an efficient game. I don't think he's much of a fantasy relevant guy moving forward. Keep scrolling down, see if we got any particular value plays. Nothing in the 4,000 range that sticks out to me this week. Not going to do anything with Le'Veon. Stevenson is serviceable, I guess. He got a touchdown. That's the only reason why he was kind of relevant. Carter. Sanders at 5,100 is intriguing. If you can stomach up the capacity to roster him. look at DraftKings doesn't even want me to load him because it doesn't even want me to have an option. But no, 10 and 8. He's been absolutely not good, and he gets at 5,100, number one back in Philly. If he doesn't get snaked by Hurts touchdown runs, maybe he's got a lot more value to him. We'll see. I can't tell you right now to roster him. I'm not going to tell you that whatsoever. My top guys going to be probably Henry, Henderson, and Patterson and CHUBA Hubbard currently. Moving over to wide receiver. A lot of times we're going to stick with them in our game stacks with our quarterbacks. We're going to do our two wide receivers or two pass catchers, and then we bring it back with our one opposing pass catcher. Another matchup, Tyreek should dominate. If you guys watched the Monday Night Football game last night, a bunch of cornerbacks, safeties got hurt for Tennessee. We'll see if they can get into the lineup this week, but Tyreek should be able to get past them. Hardman as well, so a nice stack there. Ridley coming back from the London. He played last week, or no, he hasn't played since week 4. Sorry, but he's going to be able to be rostered at 6,600. So you get him a little bit of a discount. I think he could potentially go off this week. Keep going with these top guys. Easily pay up. I probably won't pay up as much for Davante Adams this week as I did last week, but do like Tyreek. I'm probably going to fade Cooper Kupp just by the initial thinking that this is going to be another blowout. But however, Cooper Kupp had another badass week last week, 37 points, a couple touchdowns, 12 targets. I mean, he's there for 10 targets plus. It's just game script and seeing if I want to end up rostering him. I think this could be out of hand in the first half. Some value plays. Let's keep scrolling down. Brandon Cooks, always in play at 6,000. He's going to be double-digit targets. He got back on the track with 9 receptions. Just didn't get in the end zone, but 17.9 points is definitely serviceable. JAYLEN WADDLE is intriguing after his breakout game last week. 10 receptions, 13 targets. You got to just keep an eye out on if DeVontae Parker is back, and I think Preston Williams was out as well. So that always helps. But with Tua back, he's going to keep pounding JAYLEN WADDLE the ball. Jacoby Myers almost got in the red zone or the end zone. Almost got it called back. He's probably going to be another underperforming wide receiver for Occupy this week. Keep plugging him in. He's going up against this Jets defense he's already played. I think they can get him open and into the end zone. I like Jacoby this week. And then if you're going to play the narrative that you might potentially play Justin Fields, why not play his number one wide receiver for $5,100 and hope that hits? So we'll see. Let's see if it's another one that doesn't want me to load. But no, he has been absolutely bust material this year. A-Rob has not got, or he has 1 touchdown on the year. It was the first week. Since then, he has not scored double-digit Draftkings points, which are PPR points, which is horrific. Especially if you're in standard or half PPR, almost not startable just because of his name. But you could project him this week to finally get back into the end zone against that weak Tampa Bay secondary. Could you go Mooney for them? Same concept there. Lazard and Hardman are intriguing. Lazard almost snaked a couple, almost had 2 touchdowns last week. We'll see if they keep going back to him. I'll dive into that for you guys. Hardman's always in play, him and Tyreek, especially against that Tennessee game. Rieger. And so DYAMI Brown here, he got 6 targets, had a couple deep balls thrown to him that were just underthrown by Taylor Heineke. Could potentially be a good possibility. I'm going to roster him this week, especially at 3,600 with Logan Thomas still out. Maybe they throw him a couple more deep balls and they end up getting him. DUVERNAY was pretty good. I wouldn't say pretty good. I mean, he had 4 points, but he was involved. And these punt plays down there at the bottom, 3,600. You got to look for people who are constantly running. I think he returns punts as well, so you never know if he can run one back. We'll move to the tight end position. Briefly, we'll go over, it's the Kelsey, Waller, Andrews, Pitts, Hawkinson, those top 5 guys you're going to want to get into your lineups. Kelsey has regressed somewhat, I would say. He's not putting up his 30-point games, 20-plus games that he was, 6, 17, 17. I think this is a good matchup for him. Obviously, he's going to be in my game stacks with this game. Waller, he has cooled off since his outbreak at the week 1, but he's still one of those guys. He's only got 2 touchdowns on the year, so you could see some positive regression go his way coming forward. And we'll see if Goddard gets back from the COVID-19 list. And then probably what a lot of people are going to do this week is go Zach Ertz because he's the new toy. And everybody likes to play with their new toy. So $3,900, very, very cheap. Plug him into the undefeated team's offense, and you would think he goes off. So we'll see. I want to see his ownership before I make a stance on Zach Ertz this week. Seals Jones, who had that big game, won the guy $1 million. 15.8 points last week, 3,700, only went up $700, but he's not dirt cheap anymore, so you're going to have to pay up a little bit for him. The couple of guys that were on Occupy's underperforming wide receiver list was Tanyan, so underperforming tight end list last week. Still disappointed. Three targets, and then it was Cole Kmet here. And he actually was pretty serviceable. He had 8.9 points, almost got in the end zone. They did a little Kelsey play, and he did not end up getting in. But you could go back to him. Like I said, the Fields could potentially be a Millie winner, maybe, if you don't think people are going to play him as enough. So those, I'd probably maybe go back to the Higbee train here. You got Hunter Henry scored in like his last 2 or 3 games. Gesicki gets absolutely peppered with targets as well. You're probably going to have a nice little mix here. Probably lay off of Andrews a little bit. Throw Kyle Pitts in there. But probably stay with these higher range guys and then drop down here for the Seals Jones or Zach Ertz guys and see how ownership takes me. That's just thought process currently. So that's the first look video. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys want to leave a comment below, let me know how you guys are feeling about this slate and who you guys are targeting. So I appreciate you guys.